Since leaving the army, the Demon King has conquered more than half of the human continent. But the gods have given heroic protection to a girl named Rudy, so Rudy and her comrades have able to repel the Demon King's attacks. The main character of the story is a young herbalist named Red, and he currently lives in a land near the border called Zoltan. After picking herbs, Red brought them to sell at the Adventurers Guild. And while other adventurers love adventure, Red just wants to open a pharmacy, because his wish is to have a peaceful life in this land of Zoltan. Just out of the Adventurers Guild, Red met a son of his friend named Tanta, and Tanta always said that the boy would learn carpentry to help Red build a pharmacy, but now I still don't know what to protect my god. Protecting the gods is what determines the profession and ability of each person, so some people are born to become magicians while others are born to become swordsmen. In fact, Red was originally a former teammate as well as the brother of the hero Rudy, but because he was not strong enough, he was kicked out of the team by a mage named Ares. Protecting Red's mentor allows him to have more power than anyone else at birth. But once his strength reaches a certain threshold, he can no longer become stronger. Ares said that he would become a burden to the team if he continued to follow them, so he obeyed Ares and hid somewhere far away without anyone knowing. The next day, while picking herbs, Red ran into an owl. But Red spared it because he was no longer in the hero party anyway. As soon as he reached the village gate, Red met the adventurer group of a guy named Albert. Albert wants to hunt an owl and his team has never been to the forest. So he wants to ask someone who knows the forest like Red to guide him, but Red refuses because he doesn't want to get into trouble, making him extremely angry. That evening, sitting at home, an uncle of Tanta named Gons came to look for Red, and Gons informed that Tanta was suffering from a serious illness, so Red immediately ran to the house. Boy to see the situation. To cure Tanta's illness, they needed a herb, and according to the adventurer's law, anyone who went into the forest at dark would be punished. But Red still ran straight into the forest to find it. Herbs to save Tanta's life. Red was very alarmed when he saw that the forest was burning fiercely, and he guessed that it was Albert's group that burned the forest to lure the owl out, but luckily Red still found some herbs. The medicine hasn't been burned yet. Right after that, the owl suddenly appeared and rushed to attack Red, so he had to defeat it. Red had just left the forest when Albert's group found the owl's body, and the doctor successfully cured Tanta thanks to the amount of herbs Red brought back, so Gons and Tanta's family showed up. Very grateful to him. In the land of Zoltan, a high-ranking female adventurer named Rit had just appeared, and when she heard the receptionist at the Adventurers Guild tell about Red, Rit became very interested. Gons helped Red set up a small pharmacy to repay him for saving Tanta's life, and Red also held an opening party and invited everyone around to attend. However, Red's shop was empty. No one came to buy herbs, but he was surprised when he saw Rit enter the shop. As it turns out, Red and Rit have known each other during their time fighting the demon race, and Rit is the second princess of a military power called Lagervia, but now she is hiding. Palace to come as an adventurer in this place. Rit felt very angry when he heard that the magician Ares kicked Red out of the hero party, because Red was the one who took care of everything and strategized for the team. As soon as Red made a pot of tea, Rit felt very happy. A few years ago in Lagervia Kingdom, Red's group was sitting in a restaurant when they saw a boss teasing Rit, but she easily fell and scared the bastard to run away. Rit directly told Red's party that the Lagervia Kingdom would defeat the demon race without a hero. However, Rit often cooperates with Red to fight against demonic attacks, and when talking, she enjoys eating biscuits made by Red himself. A demon king general named Shasenden led the demon army to attack Lagervia, and Rit decided to counterattack without the help of the hero party. However, Rit did not know that when Shasenden had the ability to transform into anyone he ate, so he turned into a human general and tricked Rit into the ambush of the demon race, and all the soldiers. Fortunately, Red arrived in time to rescue Rit before she was eaten by Shasenden, and with the overwhelming strength of a hero, Rudy easily defeated Shasenden. Rit was completely devastated after witnessing the deaths of her generals, so Red had to try to cheer her up, and that's why she was arrested. Started falling in love with Red right at that moment. Back in the present time, Rit suddenly asks to be an employee for Red's pharmacy, but Red thinks that a pharmacy without customers does not need employees. However, seeing Rit's determination, Red reluctantly agrees, but she wants to come here to live with him. Meanwhile, Ares has been looking for an assassin girl named Tease with a spider to replace Red, but it seems the rest of the party doesn't care about that. Rit has started moving to the pharmacy to live with Red, and Rit wants to buy a bed of his own because Red is still sleeping on the floor right now. Zoltan was a land far from the battlefield with the Demon King's army, so there was no need for the presence of a hero party. The two of them went to a goblin shop to buy a bed, and he was surprised to find out that Rit was dating Red. On the way home, they saw Tanta fighting with a boy named Ademi, so Red went to scare the boy and his friends away. When he saw Tanta's friend Al injured, Red bandaged the boy, and Tanta was also surprised to learn that Rit was living with Red. After observing, Red realizes that Ademi's divine protection could be a fight, and Al reveals that Ademi hasn't acted as violently as before. But as far as Red knows, each person's personality will be changed to become suitable for their own protection. Arite's soul spying protection allows her to detect life in the forest, and that protection makes Rit prefer a free life to a confined life in the palace. That night, seeing that Red's food was so delicious, Rit asked him to sell more food at the pharmacy. Red used his basic cooking skills to mix potions and baking ingredients together, and he succeeded in making a cookie with the ability to restore vitality. The next day, Rit went out into the street to invite people to buy the drugstore's recovery cake, and customers rushed in to buy all of their cakes within an hour of opening, so Red was happy to pick up Rit because thanks to her idea. After Red left, Rudy's party had a lot of trouble fighting the Demon King, because from the past to now, the strategy and information search has been done by Red. Martial arts master Danon thinks Ares was completely wrong to kick Red out of the group, so he decides to leave the group for a while to find Red, and Rudy also wants Danon to find his brother back. Every morning when Red wakes up, he feels extremely happy to see Rit lying on the bed next to him. And Red once planned that after defeating the Demon Lord, he would become a small lord, but unexpectedly he opened a pharmacy and lived peacefully with Rit in this remote countryside. The other adventurers were surprised to hear that Red was living with Rit. And the fact that the strongest adventurer in Zoltan like Rit quit his job to sell drugs was also shocking news. Rit had just run out for a while when the adventurer Albert came to their pharmacy again. And he suddenly wondered why a strong man like Red would accept to sell drugs here, because he found out that Red was the one who killed the owl in the forest. However, Red refused to admit that he was the one who killed the owl, so Albert immediately put his sword on Red's neck to force him to show his level, but Rit suddenly appeared. Angrily beat him up. Rit tried to kill Albert for the crime of threatening her lover, but Red explained that it was all a misunderstanding, so she spared Albert's life, and Red was also strong enough to defeat him. There's no need for her to be so angry. Red and his friends held an endurance contest in the steam room, but Gons fainted because he couldn't stand the heat in the room. This half-elf is Tanda's mother and Gonzi's younger sister named Now, and Now feels that this public bathhouse seems to have fewer and fewer guests. The owner of the bathhouse said that another new bathhouse had just been built in the area. However, Now and the others did not want this public bathhouse to collapse, so they came together to think of a way to help the owner of the bathhouse to bring the guests back. Red suddenly brought a bag of aromatherapy made from herbs to introduce to the owner of the bathhouse, and after hanging the bag inside the steam room, the whole room was filled with the aroma, not to mention the sauna method. Aromatherapy can also improve people's health. Thanks to Red's new method, customers gradually returned to this bathhouse, and the three young people started playing the 24-hour challenge sitting in the sauna again. The senior leaders of the Zoltan Adventurers Guild suddenly went to look for Rit, and it seemed like they wanted to invite Rit back as an adventurer since the guild was currently short of manpower, but Rit immediately returned. Refused and said she would work for the rest of her life at Red's pharmacy. As soon as they went inside, Rit was embarrassed to Red because of her statement, but Red gave Rit a bracelet as her lifetime contract. The Thieves Guild wanted Rit to return to being an adventurer under the guild's management, because Rit might become their trouble if she continued to act as freely as she is now. The guildmaster Bighawk had someone named Dur convince Rit to return as an adventurer, and Dur said that he would use a secret of Rit that only he knew about to force her. While working, Rit suddenly remembered the time when Lagervia Kingdom was surrounded by demons, and she and Red's group planned to go to Sunland Kingdom to ask for reinforcements, but they would have to make it through a place called the Ghost Forest to reach Sunland. When she saw a high elf girl running out to hug Red, Rit felt extremely jealous, and this high elf named Yaradrala will help the group through the haunted forest, because he can talk to plants so people won't worry about getting lost when going into the forest. Along the way, Rit feels very uncomfortable every time he sees Yaradrala clinging to Red. Yaradrala suddenly invites everyone to go down to the river to cool off and go on, and while bathing, Yaradrala says that she knows about Arite's crush on Red. In order to avoid misunderstanding by Rit, she also said that she did not actually love Red, because high elves have a very long lifespan, so she has no intention of marrying a human. They had just reached the other side of the forest when they saw the scouts of the Demon King's army, and it seemed that they had guessed their purpose and came here to block the way, so Red decided it was him. He and Yaradrala will hold them back so they can all go to Sunland. As soon as they heard the news, the Sunland Kingdom sent reinforcements to defeat all the demons, and Rudy also quickly returned to save Red and Yaradrala. Seeing that Red was still alive, Rudy happily hugged her brother, and Rit felt that now was not the time for her to come in between the two cousins, so she did not participate. Join the hero party and travel around until you meet Red and Zoltan. While on the way to buy things, Rit suddenly meets Dur sent by the band of thieves, and Dur threatens Rit that he knows that she is Lagervia's princess, so Rit will have to go back to pretending adventurer or else he will inform the royal family that she is here. However, Rit just wants to be with Red, she doesn't care about royalty anymore, she is even willing to give up the title of princess, much to Dur's surprise. Red was sitting and talking with the doctor when suddenly he heard singing from the neighbor's house, and when they ran over, they saw a young man lying on the ground, but Red discovered that this young man fainting like that is due to the use of banned substances. Thanks to Red's antidote, the young doctor's neighbor has gradually stabilized his health. As soon as they got home, Red was immediately scolded by Rit for letting her wait for her meal, and Red told her about the doctor's neighbor who had just passed out due to drug use. However, Red brushed that aside and said he wanted to take a day off, so Rit happily agreed since it's been a long time since they've had a chance to hang out together. They closed the pharmacy for a day, then they rode the dragon together to the river, and after bathing in the river, the two of them made an extremely delicious barbecue. The next day, Rit said that more and more people are using drugs in the city, and it will make people hallucinate and think they are superheroes. While talking, a seriously injured man suddenly ran to them for help, so Red told Rit to run down to town to check what just happened. As soon as he ran down to the place, Rit was shocked to see that many people were injured, and they were attacked by some young people using banned substances. A few youths using banned substances rushed to attack Rit as soon as they saw her, but being a high-ranking adventurer, Rit was able to defeat them with just a few simple hits. Albert also showed up to help Rit take down some drug users, but Rit hated Albert so she decided to beat him up. Rit went back to the pharmacy and informed Red about everything, and were talking to each other when they suddenly saw Tanta and Al coming to visit. Red made some spaghetti to feed the two kids along with Rit, and Al informed that the boy who had just awakened was protected as a weapon master, so Red advised Al to pick it up soon. A suitable weapon. Meanwhile, sitting in a pub, a stranger suddenly came to talk to Danon, and when he learned that Danon was looking for Red, he offered to go with him. That night, Red and Rit were talking to each other when suddenly they heard a knock on the door, and they were surprised to see Al, badly injured, lying on the doctor's back. As soon as he regained consciousness, Al panicked and said that his parents had just been attacked by a demi, so Red and everyone quickly went to the boy's house to check on the situation, but luckily his father, the boy's mother, just fainted, nothing serious. Because Ademi was originally the son of the captain of the guard, the people rebelled and protested, and they thought that the guard was covering up the boy's crimes. But things got worse when Ademi suddenly disappeared without a trace. Al was sent by his parents to Red's temporary home to keep him safe, and his guardian was a weapon master, so Rit taught him how to use a sword. Gons and Now suddenly ran over to report that Tanta had been taken away for questioning by the guards, so everyone went together to the guards' headquarters to ask to see Tanta. As it turned out, the guard captain Moen still didn't believe his son was the one who attacked Al's parents, and he assumed that it was the drug users who attacked them, not Ademi. Tanta also did not believe that Ademi could be the one to attack Al's parents, because right after the two of them fought, Ademi went to Tanta's house to apologize, and that time Ademi was being protected by the attacker. Influence on yourself. Moen also does not believe that his son has used banned substances like others. That night, Al said that someone had come to give the boy a sword while Red was not at home, and the boy believed that the person was related to Big Hawk, the leader of the bandits. Meanwhile, Rit was investigating information about the banned goods dealers, but was discovered by them, but was about to attack Rit when someone knocked them all down, and Rit was gone. She was surprised to realize that the person who had just saved her was Danon. Soon after, the two of them discovered that the drug dealers were being controlled by the half-tailed demons, so Danon also wanted to stay here for a while to investigate more about them, but he said Rit please temporarily hide Red the fact that he has just arrived here. When Rit got home, Red showed her the sword Al had just been given to her this afternoon, and after testing she discovered that the sword was tracked by magic, but they couldn't guess why Big Hawk would want to spy on a boy like Al. In the days that followed, the people protested more and more violently because they believed that the guards were covering for Ademi, and it was Big Hawk and the bandits who paid them to organize the protest. At this moment, Rudy's party was attacking a dungeon of the previous Demon King, and they found a well-sealed airship. Their group confiscated the airship as a trophy, and Tis asked Rudy if there was any place she wanted to go with the airship, but was affected by his protection, so she couldn't do anything but fight the Demon Lord. The military police sent a soldier to protect Al's safety while Red went out, but this guard was the one who was plugged in by the thieves, so the bandits came. Red's pharmacy and took the boy away with ease. Al was tied up and escorted to Big Hawk's face, and Big Hawk said that every creature in the world has only one protection from God, so whether they like it or not, they must follow the direction of that protection. However, Big Hawk used a forbidden substance called Demon's Protector to create more protection for everyone, and he called Ademi in and said that the boy also used Demon's Protection, but the boy still sincerely apologized for attacking Al's parents. Soon after, Big Hawk brought Al and Ademi out in front of all the people in the area, and he said that it was Ademi's father who protected his son all this time, so he wanted everyone stand up against the guards to claim justice. Everyone was infuriated as soon as they heard that from Big Hawk, and Big Hawk gave Al a sword and told him to kill Ademi for revenge. Although he was the one who forced Ademi to drink Demon Protection and made Ademi attack Al's parents, but after thinking for a while, the boy cut Ademi's rope instead of doing what he said. Red mixed in with Big Hawk's people and rushed out to free Ademi and Al. And when he found a safe place, he gave Ademi a potion that was able to control the protection of demons. As soon as he stepped out into the open field, Red saw Albert walking with Big Hawk, but did not expect that Big Hawk had been possessed by a demon contract for a long time. Albert and the contracted demon both have a common goal, which is to defeat the Demon King, but Albert wants everyone to use demon protection to increase their strength and then join him. Red protested against Albert's long-standing wrongdoing with the demon, even if their goal was to defeat the Demon Lord and save the world. Albert had no choice but to fight Red, but as soon as he charged, he immediately amputated his arm, and he and the demon contractor were captured by the guards. Then solve it at the station. Meanwhile, Al and Ademi go back to Big Hawk's castle to explain to everyone, and Al pretends to say that Ademi was actually possessed by a demon right after attacking the boy's parents, so everyone was quick to forgive Ademi. A few days later, Al joined a group of E-rank adventurers to travel with them. And the stranger who had met Danon went to the cheat house to find the demon contracted, but he was terrified when he realized that it was the demon general Shaysundin turned into. Shaysundin had planned to punish this contracted demon for daring to use demon protection against the demon lord, but the contracted demon quickly revealed his true form and escaped from Shaysundin, and he ran to the next room to take Albert's body. The next morning, Ares is shocked to discover that Rudy and Tis have taken off with the spaceship, and Rudy has also left behind a badge that proves she is a hero. It turns out, right after escaping from Shaysundin, the demon contracted with Albert came to see Rudy, and he said that even though he was a demon, he wanted to destroy the demon lord just like her. The contracted demon introduced Rudy to the demon protector he had, and he told Rudy that demon protection can weaken the original guardian's power, so she drank all the demon protection pills inside of me. It's the hero protection that always prompts Rudy to give up her emotions so she can focus on defeating the demon lord, but if the hero's protection is weakened then she is free to do whatever she pleases. Big Hawk's one-eyed henchman is the only one who knows how to make the demon protector potion, so Rudy tells Tis to take her to Zoltan to get him to make more potions for her. As soon as she arrived in Zoltan, Rudy changed her clothes so that no one would recognize her as a hero, and she hunted a giant monster in the forest to earn money to stay here. That night, seeing Red returning from picking herbs, the policeman invited him to the pub, but coincidentally Tis also went to the same pub to buy food for Rudy. With his keen eye, Red discovered that Tis was an assassin, and Tis also realized that Red was a knight with full combat experience, so the two of them were very cautious each other while having dinner. The next morning, Rudy and Tis planned to free Big Hawk's henchman named Godwin, and when evening came, they stormed into the cell to force him to make a demon protector. Seeing Rudy's lifeless eyes, Godwin quickly agreed to follow Rudy to fulfill her request. However, Godwin is currently injured so he can't make medicine for Rudy, but Rudy doesn't want to use her powers to heal him for fear of revealing his identity, so Tis and Rudy accidentally go to Red's pharmacy to buy medicine for him. As soon as she saw Red, Rudy immediately rushed to hug him, and when she found out that the two of them were brothers, Gons and Tis were both extremely surprised. Tis introduced herself to Red that she was the one recruited to take his place, and Rudy informed Red that after he left, their party had also gradually disbanded, so that Rudy wants to invite him back to the group to go with the others to defeat the Demon Lord. However, Red refuses to return to everyone because he is living very comfortably here, and Rudy suddenly asks to stay in this city, much to everyone's surprise. Just returned from the market, Rit was surprised as soon as she saw Rudy sitting in the house, and Rudy hid from Red that she came here to find a way to make the demon's protective potion. After finishing the conversation, Rudy and Tis returned to the inn in the city, but Rudy was annoyed by protecting the hero who urged her to go fight the Demon Lord. And Red and Rit also realize that she is carrying a burden too big for her age. Godwin said that he needed a laboratory to make medicine, so Rudy decided to use an ancient elf ruins as a laboratory. Rudy gradually regained her emotions thanks to the use of the demon's protective potion. She even began to take an interest in the spider that frequently sat on Tis's shoulder. The next day, as soon as the customer saw Rudy's face in the pharmacy, the customer ran away immediately because she always showed an expressionless face that scared everyone. Red asked Rudy to go to the public bath that everyone went to before, and the owner of the bathhouse broke out in sweat as soon as he saw Rudy's face. But when he regained his composure, he apologized to Rudy for his rude behavior just now. After taking a bath, Rudy says she feels happy today, because it's been a long time since the two of them have a date like this, and Rudy wishes that the hero protection would disappear. Let this moment last forever. Meanwhile, Ares and Theodora are finding their way to Zoltan City, and it is Albert who tells them that Rudy is currently going there to find medicine. While on the boat, Albert confided some things to Theodora, so she helped Albert find a better path for him to take. Tis honestly tells Red that Rudy is currently using demonic protection to reduce the power of the hero guardian. And unlike normal people, Rudy's hero protector has poison resistance, so she won't go crazy in the immediate future as long as the hero protector is still there. Ares, Theodora and Albert reach the harbor of Zoltan City, and while walking in the street, Shasenden happened to see Ares. Danon was overjoyed as soon as he saw Red standing outside the seaport, and the two of them went to a restaurant together to talk. Theodora and Albert were also sitting nearby listening to the two of them talk, but Theodora used stealth to not be detected by them. Danon was surprised to learn that Rudy had just come to live in this city, and the two of them had already left the restaurant and continued chatting on the way. Meanwhile, Shasenden suddenly transforms into Danon and goes to Ares' room, and he tells Ares that Red is living a comfortable life here with Rit. Right after that, when fake Danon gave directions, Ares went to Red's pharmacy and destroyed all the furniture. On the way to Rudy's lab, Danon tells Red that Shasenden is still alive, and that he himself ate one of Danon's arms while searching for Red, so he is now fully capable. Transforms into Danon. The two of them suddenly saw Ares and the fake Danon flying towards the ruins of the ancient elves, so they quickly chased because that place was also Rudy's laboratory. On the way, Red meets Rit with Tis, who is also riding a dragon to the laboratory, and Red tells Rit that he has just met Danon but he has an amputated arm, so Rit realizes it. The Danon she met before was the one Shasenden turned into. Due to his faster speed, Red reached the ruins before everyone else, and when he went deep inside, he met Godwin with Rudy making potions here. Rudy was very confused because she no longer wanted to be a hero, and Red also believes that Rudy's life should be her own choice, so Red fully supports the decision. Give up her heroism. Shasenden and Ares finally reached the ruins of the ancient elves, and were running when Danon encountered Theodora and Albert riding on the back of a dragon. Rit and Tis also joined Red inside the ruins, and everyone suddenly discovered Ares had just set foot inside this place. Ares came here to call Rudy back to the party to continue his quest to defeat the Demon Lord. But Rudy refused, saying that their journey was over since she left. Red panicked and threw a magic blow to blow Red into the wall. Soon after, Rudy abandoned Ares, since he could heal himself anyway, and this time Shasenden transformed into a human to go out and talk to Ares. However, Ares soon realizes he is Shasenden by means of verification magic, and he informs Ares that the first hero's weapon is stored inside the ruins. Shasenden led Ares straight into the first hero's weapon storage, and when Tis sensed them going deeper, everyone chased after them, and Danon and Theodora were now also able to set foot inside the monument. Danon immediately rushed to Shasenden's place and attacked him fiercely, and Danon punched him in the face, making him unable to move in time. However, Ares standing next to him had used paralysis magic on Danon, so Shaesundin took advantage of that opportunity to stab him in the stomach with a sword. Shaesundin quickly morphed back into his true form, and Danon tried his best to fend off the attacks from his 6 arms, but he still managed to stab a sword in the chest by Danon. After defeating Danon, Shaesundin and Ares continued to go inside, and they found the holy swords used by the original hero. Shaesundin says that these holy swords have the ability to increase the strength of the hero's protection, so Rudy will have to revert to being a hero if he wields one of these swords, because then the influence of hero protection weakened by demon protection will be restored. Right after that, Shaesundin transformed into a general of Rit who was killed by him before, so Rit got angry and attacked, causing him to reveal himself, and Ares also attacked everyone with a wide area fire-type magic. Theodora and Albert ran to Danon just in time to give him a drink of healing water, and Theodora's dragon crashed into the middle of everyone's battle, but Theodora bound Rit with a magic chain, then rushed to attack Rudy immediately. Theodora also wanted to force Rudy to return as a hero to defeat the Demon King, because if Rudy didn't fight, a lot of people would die. Red was running to untie Rit when they were suddenly attacked by Ares' magic, causing the entire room where the two were standing to fall straight down. Rudy defeated Theodora with a single slash and ran to save his brother, but Shaesundin suddenly rushed out and pushed Rudy to the floor below with him. Danon was standing at the bottom when he noticed that Red and Rit were falling, so he used a powerful punch to push them back up. As soon as Red came back, Ares was about to use magic to attack him, but Tis's spider was holding his hands with its threads, so Red took the opportunity to cut him off 2 hands and then defeat him with a single hit. Meanwhile, Rudy and Shaesundin are still having a very fierce battle, and Rudy accidentally grabs the sword of the first hero and slashes Shaesundin. Rudy returned to everyone's place after defeating Shaesundin, but Rudy suddenly rushed to attack Red, so Tis blocked it for him. Red tried to hold Rudy until his sword was completely broken, but he succeeded in taking the holy sword out of Rudy's hand with only a bronze sword. As soon as she regained consciousness, Rudy hugged her brother in panic, and seeing that Tis was in critical condition, Rudy rushed to treat her, but did not understand why at that time, he couldn't use hero protection anymore. However, Theodora still had enough strength so she used healing magic to save Tis's life. And Theodora says that from now on she will respect Rudy's decision to give up being a hero, because she also understands the loneliness Rudy has to endure as a hero. After some time, Rudy was now able to regain most of her emotions. Even now she can catch a cold just like a normal person, and in her body has formed a treasure. The second household has the ability to reduce the influence of hero protection. Everyone also held a small funeral to see Ares off, and Danon also left Zoltan right after he was healed. Red asked Gons to fix the bed along with all the furniture that was destroyed by Ares, and in the end, Red and Rit have a happy life together. Thank you for watching the full video review. And don't forget to press the subscribe button along with the bell button to receive notifications when the channel releases new videos.